Yo, yo,
Hello, hello.
dude,
Good evening.
what we are going over tonight, we have been like breathing and drinking over the past 2 weeks. And so I'm hoping this goes super smooth. Like, I hope we come out
Okay.
of this where people think we are the cat's meow, as my grandmother would say. Cat's
It
meow.
doesn't go smooth. Let's not sell it like that. Come on, let's be real.
It's
This is
flipping
never smooth.
houses. Like it's always a little bit of a unexpected, I guess. Like I went and saw one today, man. I actually saw it on the way home when I was coming to do this with you guys. And it was over in Winder. It's on 2 acres. Dude, the property, I swear, it jumped off like a Thomas Kincaid painting. Beautiful pond, like mountainous terrain. And this is over in Winder, like the Jackson County side of Winder.
Yeah.
Unbelievably beautiful property. And it had the oddest feature. Okay, the front door of the house is on the second story. And so like it felt kind of like a beach house to that effect, where you look at beaches houses and they're kind of
Okay.
up on stilts, so flipping houses. There's a reason why these houses
Flood
are
zone?
what they are. But
Is it on flood zone?
actually, no. No.
Okay.
They when they built the house, they intended it to be a multi-story type home, and so the front door was
Yeah.
intended to be in the middle, but somebody jacked it up in the process, and it landed too high, and so they ended up pushing the floor up, and so it's weird. I think we can make it not weird, but it's going to be a challenge, and that's kind of what we wanted to talk about tonight, because the whole theme
Yeah.
of this season 2 thing has been us convincing you guys this is something that you can do. Like you right there in the camera, this is something legitimately, I swear to you, if you will get the right people around you and you will put your ability, gumption, like guts out on the line, this is totally something that can be done. It's not just a TV show thing. It's a legitimate thing happening every day by blue collar, average, white collar, just average guys who work a 9 to 5. And so you can see way more on that. A few weeks ago, Alex shared his story. We are going to post that later this week again from the Facebook page, so you can see he and Emily's story on how they got into flipping and that kind of stuff. And it really, really gives you a 15-minute clip of what it looks like for, just the average person working a job to start chasing after this and ultimately building a life that they're really thrilled about living.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I want that to kind of be the handoff to you and share give me like a 30-second, a 1-minute clip about why that was so intriguing. That specific aspect was so intriguing about flipping and owning houses and this thing for you and Emily. What is it you guys are chasing after? Like what's at the end of the rainbow, if we will?
The end of the rainbow is financial freedom. Not having a mortgage and really having the ability to give away more
Mm,
and just having flexibility to have capital and
mm.
you know not be chained to kind of the 9 to 5 lifestyle for 30 more years,
Yeah.
and with that comes so many different things, like we talked about so many times. It's vacations with kids. It's,
Yeah.
you know, building a pool, who knows, just the fun things that you can only kind of get to if you're building wealth in a accelerated way.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
man, that like second to last word, accelerated, is really where we want to tee off, because
Hmm.
you can build a retirement with an IRA. You can build
Yeah.
a way out for, when you're 60 to live how you want to
Can
live
and
to
should.
whatever degree. Yeah, like all that.
Yeah.
We're not
Not a
saying this
either
is
or.
an alternative. We're saying
Mhm.
this is a complement, and maybe over time could shift into a primary vehicle for accomplishing all those things. On my end, how I answer that question on my budget. So we do a budget every month with our personal finances, and at the top of that budget, I have this little statement that's kind of a true north for me personally, and it says, "Money is not an ends. Money is a means to an end." And I think it's really easy when we're talking about flipping houses and, man, big paychecks potentially at the back end of flipping a house. It's easy to get lost, and man, money is the goal here. Just money, money, money. And I really want to emphasize this is something that you can do, but we hope it's not for just the sake of money. We want it to be for something greater. If that's time with your kids, if it's financial freedom, if it's paying for college, like all of that. Let there be an end goal. Otherwise, money becomes this hunger that you can never satisfy, and it just leaves you wanting more and more and more. And so, as we're talking through tonight and showing you all of our processes, be thinking through, what would you do this for? And take time, write that out, maybe even talk with your spouse about it, because I hope you're going to see everything we're doing, plug and play. You can be doing this. We can stand with you and do this exact thing. So I'm going to stop talking, and now we're going to jump in, meat and potatoes. Alex, I'm going to kick us over to our Trello board. Give them an overview of quickly what this is and how we use it. Okay. 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 Yep. Correct. And then we throw it to a whole nother board at that point. And that incorporates a whole nother team. We're at that point, we're talking to our contractors, our GCs, like we're adding them into this process. So there's, what you can see is this is huge communication. I mean, this allows us to really keep stuff tightened up and knowing exactly what. See, this is one of our post purchase boards, where we can keep everything really tight and know exactly what's going on. So that's Trello. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Now let's kick over here to MLS for a minute. So this is the MLS on our end. MLSs, there are hundreds, if not thousands of them nationally. And our local MLS here is First MLS, FMLS for short. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're literally going to go find a fixer-upper that's currently on the market. Alex and I are going to comp it out here live for you, which basically means what's the value of this house? What's the after repair value of this house? And then we're going to walk you through what we would do. And so you can literally see, like, this is how the money shakes out. This is roughly the costs associated with this project. And then ultimately what that profit would look like, bottom line, for the purchaser after everyone's gotten paid, money's in the bank. So let's jump over here. Yeah, pause me. Yeah, jump in with that. Mm. Yep. Yep. Mhm. Right. And so, like our team, we are part of Athens, we are part of Georgia, and we're part of First MLS. And so, because we work in all those areas. And then commercial is also its own beast outside of that, which we do play in. Like, and again, we don't expect you to know this, but any property that has 5 or more units under the same roof is considered commercial. And so, when we work with larger investors who are doing that, we're in a whole different category than the MLS even. So, this is different than Zillow for 1,000 reasons, but to sum them all up, the information is more accurate and up to date. So if a client comes to me and says, Mark, I want to buy in Decula, I want to be in a specific school district, and I need my budget to be this. And hey, Mark, it's really important the master has to be on the main. Well, man, good luck putting all that in Zillow, getting accurate information, getting accurate statuses. Like every time you look at Zillow and you see active, I'm telling you half the time you're seeing properties that are already under contract, but because the MLS has around 10 different statuses and Zillow has 3, well, those 7, those 8, those 10 have to fit in the 3 boxes, which means Zillow is often giving you bad information, not because they're a bad company. Like we use the Zillow app when we're kicking stuff around. Like nothing wrong with it, but it's certainly not the MLS. If Zillow is a Camry, the MLS is a Maserati. Like they're both cars. They're both cool. They're just not the same. So let's kick over. Yeah, you keep talking. Yes. Yes. Right. And so to make that point really quickly, I mean, you can see all these options here, lot features. Like good luck putting mountain frontage in Zillow. Good luck putting real estate owned, commercial owned. Like good luck with all that. But the MLS allows us to do that. So for tonight, again, we're going to, yeah, totally. So tonight we're going to look at fixer uppers, and you can see our number just went all the way down to 208. So in FMLS currently there are 208 active marked fixer uppers, and then we're going to hone in to Gwinnett County because that's kind of the heart of our area. And so we're going to kick to Gwinnett, which is going to give us 10 current results. So we're going to kick over to these, and I'm going to pick. Let's see. I'm going to pick one I don't know. Okay. Yep. Yep. And so we're tightening down there. So you can see we have Lawrenceville, downtown Lawrenceville, up to Buford, and then all the way out to Norcross. So Gwinnett's huge. If you didn't know that, like huge, huge county, lots of people, lots of dirt make up Gwinnett. So you tell me, man. Hold on, people are telling me they cannot hear you, Alex. So let me see here real quick, man. Let's keep going. Keep talk for me for a second. Rick, thanks,
Check,
man.
check, check.
Rick, can you hear him now? Let me know in the
Check,
comments.
check,
Thanks,
check.
man. We'll keep trucking, and I'll look for your comment. But so we're in the Gwinnett ballpark here, and man, what do you want to be up toward Buford, northeast, or you want to go closer into Norcross, Peachtree Corners?
Let's hit there. I think I see one right on 20 between Lawrenceville and Buford. Is that
You want to
right?
be right here?
Down below that. Is that right?
Yeah, we won't do the 1.6.
Yeah. 1.6
Do
foot. Yeah.
let's do it. All right, so this one has been flipped. It looks like it was inaccurately marked. So I'm going to kick up to this Buford one up here. This is
Yeah.
definitely a fixer
I've
upper.
seen that recently.
So this is definitely a fixer upper. So this house, we're going to look at it. I mean, you can see siding. I'm looking at a few things here that we're going to quickly evaluate to even know if it's worth our time. Is what all do we see? We see a roof that's rusted out, which tells me this is a tin roof. Those 40 to 60 years on those. So this has had some age. We've got exposed siding here. This is probably a wood siding. And then we've got decking here. Foundation looks like it's going to be a crawl space. And so we're just going to quickly kick through these. And you're going to see, man, this is obvious work. Now, this one's kind of unique. They've given us a floor plan as to what this is either currently framed out as or has the potential to be through the city and the county. Now, this is Buford City. I saw the address. This is Buford City, and they function a little bit different. They're a little bit more hoity-toity-ish kind of in the way they function. But they've already given us all of our site plans, architectures, all that kind of fun stuff. But it kind of helps us jump off. What we don't have here is any interiors. So I'm going to punt on this one. I'm going to go back and look at our results. I'm going to find one where we can see our interiors here. Let's look at this. Let's bump one. All right, so Huff Street in Lawrenceville. And so here we go. We've got a roof that's kind of toasty. We've clearly got older windows. We got no garage here. See if we've got some interior photos. Yeah, here we go. Some wood 1980s paneling, looking
Love
sexy. It. Yes. Man, we got the halfway done can lights over here. I'm sure that we got a fire just waiting to happen with the insulation. We got gaps in the floor here. I mean, you got a kitchen configuration that wasn't major thought through. So, I mean, you can see here, like, there's obvious work. This would definitely qualify as a fixer-upper. So, again, we're just kind of quickly perusing through these. I mean, that's a shower curtain right here being used. That's what I'm talking about.
So, they got those at Waffle House for the social distancing between the booths right now. I'm not kidding.
Waffle House. That's hilarious. All right. So, Alex, what do we do with this now that we've got it? Yep. And we won't kick back and forth to Trello, but at this point, someone on our team or our investors team would have flagged this and says, hey, we like this property. And it would have gone on to Trello and been tagged as saying, what's next? So I'll let you fill in the blank.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like, I'm just starting to write down some basic facts. I'm looking at the square footage. I'm looking at the bedroom baths. I'm looking at the year it's built.
Okay. So I'm going to give you those answers really quick. We're a 3.5 bathroom. We are 1,351 square feet, and it is built in 1940. And our schools are Alfred, Richards, and Discovery.
Okay.
So that's all information we're just tracking.
It doesn't look like there's any type of basement there, so I'm not worried about that square footage.
Yep, no basement.
That square footage, if you ever have a basement, it can throw off everything, and you have to look at the tax record and do different calculations. But so yeah, after that, I want to go search for comps, because it's one thing. I'm really not looking at the list price too hard, right? Like, I want to make sure it's within a reasonable range, but what I'm really thinking about is, like, what can we sell this after it's rehabbed? What is the ARV after rehab value? Yep. So then we'd go into searching for rehab properties that are around that.
Okay. So you tell me, how do we do it? What do you want to do? Do you want to pull address?
I mean, I'm usually doing this in RPR.
Cool. Let's do it over here. I'm going to kick over to our address. So I'm going to go back to my main section of MLS. I'm going to put in my address. I'm going to find that. And then I'm going to do a 2-mile radius. And in this market, y'all, and this is a weird market, stuff is moving super quick. Typically, I would never look at comps that are active on the market or even under contract currently, because we don't know what they're going to sell for. And so that gives us a variable that is unknown. But the market is so hot, our close price to list price is within 98%. So it gives us a good hint as to where things are going to go for. So right now we're going to look at both active, pending, and recently closed. And I'm going to tighten this up. Let's leave it there. And that's
you need more matches, it looks like.
Yep. So let's drop this and let's do the schools.
Do you still have Fixer Upper on?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So we'll kill that. All right. So now we got way too many. So let's put that 0.5.
Yeah.
That brings me down to 38. Sweet. So we're going to take those. I'm going to go back over here so I can see all of mine. So you're going to see these greens are active. The yellow and orange are pending, and then everything else blue, those are now under contract. I'm going to tighten this up to as close as possible to the subject property. So this first one is always our subject property. That's that Huff Lane property we're looking at, or Huff Drive. And then we have all these ones that are close to it. So I'm going to do a few other things because, again, I mean, our comps matter. Like our ARV, we've got to be very accurate, because if that number's off, the whole thing is wrong. So I'm going to go back to my criteria. I said this house was built in 1940, so I'm going to search 1920 through 1960. That's broad, but stylistically, we're going to land in a similar bucket. So 1920 to 1960, and I knew we are a 3-bedroom, so I'm going to look 3 to 4 bedrooms, and full baths, we're going to look 1 to 2. So let's see what that kicks. That's giving me 1 match there, so we're going to have to stretch back out to our 2. And that gives me 3. So let's see what these look like. So again, we're at 155,600 is our list price. We've got a comp at 195. And this guy, let's see if he's updated or not. So ranch looks cute, similar to ours in nature. Got a fence up, and they've clearly at least kept it up. We got good floors. Yep. This home is not 2020 builder grade, but it's cute. Like, we're in the conversation.
Yep.
Lighting has clearly been updated, like neutral colors, flat ceilings, updated lighting here. They've clearly moved some walls.
Show me the kitchen.
Yep, cute kitchen. Check it out. Again, not perfect, but this is in the conversation of what we're going to be doing with our investor clients. Is something similar to this.
Yeah. So when we're talking about renovated homes, like, it's not necessarily about taste. It's about, is it considered updated from an appraisal standpoint? So
this would fall in that category.
Hardwood floors. Yep. Yeah. It's stone countertops. It's stainless steel appliances. Those are the big check marks for quote unquote modern updated homes.
And so again, really cute room here, batten board. I mean, there's a lot that really looks sharp. The bathroom got some left to be desired. I mean, these are these square tiles that we saw through the 50s, 60s, and even into the 70s. They've updated fixtures here, but it's not full on. Like, we're probably going to do a little bit more than that, or definitely going to do a little bit more than that in the houses that we do. But then we do have this crawl space down here. That is not square footage. I want to be clear. This is actually technically what's called an earthen basement. It's where the dirt is exposed. We've got support beams here, as you can see, but so this is not something that's going to do value. Now, awesome backyard space, again, fully fenced in. This is a really, really cute house.
Yeah.
So that's our number one. Then we're going to kick over to number two. We'll be a little bit quicker on that one just because we can really get in the weeds. And you can see quickly, and this is Alex and I doing this all the time, you can easily spend an hour, 2 hours on doing this and really being thorough, and which we typically would do for this sake. Now, this house looks super sharp. Yeah. I can tell you off the bat, we got a new roof. They've done some lime washing on the front. They've spent time on the yard. I mean, this house is going to be really sharp. And they do have a walkout basement space. I saw the door there. They've redone the porch. So you can see super cute here. Like all of this. So this is some newer cabinetry. Now,
freshly renovated right here.
Yes, this is somebody who, this is what they do for a living. Good countertops. This looks like a laminate or an LVP flooring. And again, guys, when we sit down with clients, we're coaching them through all of this, especially those who are newer into flipping. We're helping you solve all this. They even took that paneling we saw in our house right here and they painted it.
Yeah.
And frankly, these photos are not awesome by any stretch of the imagination, but they're good enough for you to see. Like newer vanity here, newer lighting. I mean, they've done a good baseline build out of this house. And this house sold for $213. Our square footage here is 1,430. So within 100 of our house. So this is a good comp. They're a 3.2. Yep. We were a 3.1.5. So we're really, really close on here. Our acreage was almost identical. I mean, this is we're a same school system, Benefield, Richards, and Discovery. So like this is probably a really, really close number to what we're talking about. Now, I want to be super clear here. What I can't see right now, and typically we'll kick over to like Google Street View or something like that on the front end to see the neighborhood. But if the neighborhoods are vastly different from subject property to where we are currently, then that's a challenge. But that's partially why we look at build-out dates, because we're going to assume unless those neighborhoods have all been flipped, then they're going to be at least similar in nature. So now that I've got two comps, Alex, what am I doing with these?
Well, we have a couple of different ways we do this. We probably do this 3 different ways. I mean, here's the thing off the back, and I can't read it on my screen. It's just because the stream's coming through, so you have to tell me the prices.
Yep. So ours is $155,600, and then that first comp we looked at sold for $195, and then the most recent, that's probably closer to how we do it, sold for $213.
Okay. So at that point, and I'm going to look at that better comp because that's the better target, right?
Yep.
And let's not dig into adjustments in this podcast or this episode because we can get way too in the weeds there, and that one's like super close enough. So just off the bat, I'm looking at the ratio of the purchase price of the house we want to buy to the sale price of that one.
Yep.
So what was it? 155.
Yep. We were our purchase price, let's just call it 155.
Yeah. Well, I would say, hey, let's go buy that for 150, and
Yeah,
and the
totally.
what did we say, that was it 213?
Yep. Our subject property was 213.
So that is 70% ARV.
Yep.
So that is 70% of what we would want after. So that's not a terrible ratio. That this is where the cost of everything else in between comes into play, right? So
Yep.
the actual rehab cost, the
So let's go back to
cost
ours.
to,
Let's take
yep,
2 seconds and do this. Let's go back to ours and quickly talk through what we would do. We're not going to go in depth here. We're not going to talk about
okay,
flooring type and that, but just quickly
yep,
tell me, when you look at this, now that you've seen the subject, what are you seeing here that you know is going to happen?
yep. So definitely roof,
Yep.
definitely paint on the outside. There's going
Mm-hmm.
to be landscaping, so some grass work, maybe some sod or just general trim up.
Yep.
Um,
Now, right here, you see this is a window AC unit. If
yep,
so, that is an automatic flag. I need to figure out what's going on with the AC, because that can be a $5,000-6,000 item on this
yep,
size house. And Alex has already given me landscaping, so I'm going to spend $3,000 to $8,000 there, depending on the extent of what usable yard space I've got. The
mm-hmm,
roof is going to be, let's call it 7. And if I got to add HVAC, well, all of a sudden I'm right around 15 already at this point. That's excluding any paint or anything cute like that on the front. So
that's 20.
yeah, so we're adding up margin pretty quick, as you're seeing.
Yep, yep,
Now we're jumping inside. We're seeing
yes.
we've already got floors. We know we're
Is that
going
a
to have to
heating
do
unit?
paint. Yep, this is an old
Yeah,
style heating unit we've got to get rid of. And so it looks like we're definitely putting in a central HVAC system so we can get heat and air in here. And
yep.
you see the duct work, so hopefully we can tie into that. But we're
Okay.
definitely painting, and we're definitely adding floors. Our
Definitely painting and
kitchen,
flooring.
yeah. What are we doing in the kitchen?
Well, it's hard to tell from here, like how it kind of flows, right? So let's just assume the layout is fine.
Yeah,
Like the layout of the kitchen is fine, and we don't need to put in new cabinetry per se, but we want to replace the countertops and replace the doors
mm-hmm.
and hardware. Um, Definitely want to put in stainless steel appliances there. Um, Finish
Y'all,
off those pans.
we're spending minimum on the kitchen space, not flooring, kitchen. We're spending minimum 10K here. And that's if we're
Oh
doing
yeah,
bare. If we're doing what we typically do, we're at about 15, which pushes our total. We've already spent 50 grand roughly in this house, in between flooring,
yeah,
paint, exterior, interior, landscaping, roof, and heating and air. So
yeah.
you can
This
see,
is super rough, super quick. Yeah.
and so all of a sudden we're upside down. I mean, this
Hmm.
155 and our comp was 213, and after everybody's paid out, we're already underwater. So you can see
Yeah.
with this comp, it's probably priced too high, which is why it's on the market. This house
Yeah.
probably needs to actually be closer to like 110 for there to be enough
Yeah.
margin for someone who is going to come in and flip it. Otherwise, they don't make money, and
Yeah.
you can't stay in business too long doing that.
Yeah. So
And
go
we haven't.
down to, how long has that been on the market?
Let's look at it. Days on market here, 36 days. And in this
Okay.
market,
So
that's a long time. Just being honest.
wow.
At
Yeah.
that
So,
price point and that square footage, that's a long time. And so
but if
this is
I'm
a
seeing
house.
something crazy like 100 days, I'm thinking, there might be a chance we can get that for the right price.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Exactly. And so if we did this, let's go back and just make that point really quick. Let's clear all of this. Let's start over. Just so we can show you how many days on market we've got actually shaken out often in the system here. Oh, that's going to freeze up on me. So we got a million things going. That's okay. I'll kick it back over to us. So days on market, I mean, we'll see stuff that is there forever, and that does trigger that reality of like, man, there's probably margin there. There's probably something for us to
Yeah.
chase after. But
And here's the reality: like, there's just not that many flip opportunities on the MLS.
right,
Like
exactly.
the actual opportunities that just in this day and age it's
Yep.
going to be wholesales. It's going to be super distressed homes
Yep.
that have been abandoned for years.
Yep.
That you're getting for 60, 70.
Yep, absolutely. So you can see here, all of this is totally doable. There's nothing that we just talked about that's rocket science, because we're finding the property, we're helping you evaluate the property, and we're helping you get people in the door to fix the house up. So all of this is totally plug and play. And next week, what we're going to do is I'm going to have a friend of mine who does lending to people who want to do this. He helps them figure out all the money stuff, because obviously, man, we know everybody's big thing is like, Mark, all that sounds cool, I don't have the money for it. Well, we're going to help you solve that, because if you have a deal, and if you've watched this season of this show, I hope you've seen very clearly, money finds a good deal. Like, money will find a good deal. And so if we get the deal right, we can solve the money thing. There are plenty of people who want to activate and utilize their capital for the sake of an advance. That's a win all day long. So anything you want to leave us with really quick before we head out of here?
No, I mean, this is just it's just such a fun topic for me. Like, I just love evaluating properties and finding the ones that can be flipped. Like, when we find it, it's like finding a little piece of treasure, right? Because they're super hard to find right now in this market. So yeah, I don't know, if someone's interested in doing this, hit us up. We want to partner with you.
Again, sure. even if you're 12 months out, like we have a group of guys we're talking with, and we're actually going to be starting some groups around this exact thing we're talking about. We're live and in person, hopefully within probably 2021, beginning of 2021, where we're having these conversations live, whether you own no investment, you've never flipped, or you own 50, 100, like we want us to be pushing the same direction, because we know ultimately we get more people in the room, we get better results, and that's for everybody's benefit. So if you're kicking it around, if you're even watching this now and you're immediately saying like, yeah, one day I want to do that, I mean, let's jump in that conversation. And the thing that I would leave you with, that I hope it's an encouragement. If you rewind and look at Alex and I's Trello board, where our team is evaluating all these properties with our investor clients, you can see that there was well over 100 properties on that board. I mean, we go through to find the ones that are worth it, because as you just saw in that live example, something that looked good at 155, you probably saw potential in. Well, all of a sudden, we started adding up some rough numbers, and you saw that property at 155 to be that 213 property was going to cost around $65,000 probably at the end of the day. And then people got to be paid out after that. So you can see it takes a lot of time to find that diamond, but when you find it, man, I've seen people flip properties and make six figures. I mean, I've seen it with my eyes, you know, those are real numbers. And so when you find the right deal, getting money is not the problem. Getting money can be solved. We plug and play contractors. This is something you can do. So I hope this has been a little bit of fun, kind of seeing behind the scenes of when we have an investor client, this is how we shake it out. Or frankly, we do the same thing whenever we have a residential client, someone who wants to move their family in a house that's a fixer-upper. We walk them through the exact same thing. Like the house that I am in right now recording this from, my wife and I took this exact process and applied it to our personal home. So I hope this has been helpful, and I'm Mark McMinn.
Alex Morrison.
Y'all have a good week. Go Atlanta United. I'm about to go push play.
All right.
See you guys.